Hey, welcome to Dave's Killer Kitchen. It is the 4th of July, and so we're going to do something. We're going to smoke a pork butt today. In the Carolinas, pork is kind of the more common thing to do, and we're going to do it today, and I'm going to show you how we're going to smoke this thing. Let's talk about three things. Let's talk about seasoning, the meat, and the wood. The meat, bone-in Boston butt or pork shoulder. You want the bone in there because the bone's going to help add some flavor to it, as well as help keep it moist. Okay? And the first thing we're going to do before we really get going is I'm going to go ahead and take a fork and kind of stab it to kind of open this thing up a little bit. What it's going to do is it helps some of the smoke penetrate, but it's also going to allow some of the seasoning to get in there too. So I got a heavy duty guy here that does it for me, but if you don't have one of these at home, a fork will do fine, and it's what I did for years. The top's a little tough because that's where all the fat is, but get on all the sides, goes in much easier where just the meat is. Just kind of tenderize this thing. Get it all around. And we're just kind of opening this up a little bit. It'll help the smoke get in there. It'll help the seasoning get in there. You can get on the sides here. You can see the bones right there. Got to work around that guy. We're not going to puncture that bone. But really kind of work in here and get this guy. All right, that is good. Next, we're gonna move on to the seasoning. We're gonna keep this simple. I just use some Creole seasoning. If you don't have this at home, kosher salt, chili powder, red pepper, black pepper, a little bit of garlic powder. Kind of in that order, probably mostly the kosher salt and chili powder. We're just gonna go ahead and be pretty generous with this guy. Some people don't believe in seasoning, just let the smoke and the meat do its work. But I think this kind of helps add a little bit more flavor, gives it a little extra kick. And again, this is a big piece of meat. This is about a 6.5 pound pork butt. Depending on who you're feeding, this will it'll feed about 8 to 10 people. Again, it kind of depends on your crowd. I got some big eaters coming over, so I'm probably more down on the 8 side. Because what's gonna happen, a lot of this fat's gonna melt away when we smoke it. And of course the bone's in there too, so it's gonna render down pretty good. All right, so I got that guy seasoned pretty well. Rinse my hand off here, and let's just move on to the smoke. Hickory is what I like to use. I think it gives the most flavor. I think it's mild, doesn't overpower it. And so what we need today is about 9 cups of hickory chips. And what you wanna do is you wanna soak them in some water for at least 30 minutes. I don't have all 9 cups here, but we're gonna do this, and we're gonna get about 1.5 cups at a time to make these small little pockets, and we're gonna put 2 on at a time. So at the end of the day, these will last you about 1.5 hours or so. So there's my first pocket. And no precise measurements here. About a big fistful, it's about 1.5 cups. Wrap that up. Get some holes in here to let this smoke out. Of course, you want it wet because, more smoke comes from wet wood than it does from dry. So that's why you just soak it. You don't want it sitting in there for hours, otherwise it'll never kind of get to that point where it starts to smoke and it'll just be wet wood all day. But about 30 minutes is all you need. Okay, so we're gonna take this to the grill. We're gonna put our wood chips on in 2 little pockets, and we're gonna start smoking this thing at about 250 degrees. I'll see you at the grill. All right, so we got our fire out here. Don't know if you can see it from back there. But we're just putting the charcoal on half the side. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get those wood chip packets. I'm gonna put them down in here. Put that one in upside down. And then I'm just gonna move a little bit of this charcoal around to kind of keep it, make sure I got it on these packets here to get them hot and let that really kind of smoke. And you can see I don't have a whole lot of charcoal in here. It's because I wanna keep this low. I wanna keep this at 250 degrees. I use kind of a professional charcoal that burns kind of hot, so I always got to kind of watch it. Once we get that set up, we're going to go ahead, put our grill on, take the pork butt, and what you want to do is fat side up. You can't see it because of the sauce or the seasoning anymore. That's the fat side. I'm going to put it over here for indirect heat, and I'm just going to let this thing do its work. At this point, less is more. You don't want to mess with it. You don't want to keep checking on it. My hands are a little nasty, but I'm going to go ahead and get this on here. And I'm going to have the air vent on the side of the pork butt to help kind of draw that smoke over. What'll happen is those hickory chips, they'll start to smoke in a little bit. It takes a little bit because they're wet, and we'll just get a good smoke flavor. We'll change out those hickory chips about every hour and a half, and after about 5 hours, we're gonna wrap this thing in foil to help keep it moist. It'll have enough smoke on it, and let it go another couple of hours, and it'll be tender and ready to go. See you in a little bit. Okay, so it's been about 2 hours. I checked on it after about an hour and a half, and it was still smoking pretty good, so I just let it be. This is one of those things where you don't want to change out the wood or do something just to do it. Kind of let the fire and the heat kind of talk to you. So it's starting to get that nice glaze on it. You can kind of see that's where the fat is, and it's rendering down. This one's still smoking a little bit, but I'm going to change my wood chips. Now luckily I got this little opening here in my grill, so I don't even have to take the thing off. I'm going to get this out. Because I'm using a charcoal grill, I'm just going to even go ahead and dump those right in there. And you'll see they haven't all quite completely burned, which is why that one was still smoking a little bit. I'm going to get this guy in there. We'll empty him out. Of course, if you're using a gas grill, you probably don't want to do that, but that's the luxury of using a charcoal. And now I'm going to put my 2 new wood chip packets down in here. Bury them in there good. That thing's really smoking now. Guys caught on a little bit, and we're going to put this back on and let it go.
You didn't put that whole thing down.
Let it go another hour and a half or so, and we'll check on it. You can see I got my vent closed up really good to kind of keep the heat low on this, but let this talk to you. You want some good smoke going like that, let it really kind of get into the meat. Again, we're going to do this for about 5 hours. This is our second go around with the wood chips. Let them soak about 30 minutes before we put them on there. And we'll check it again in an hour and a half. See you later. So we've been smoking this for a little bit over 5 hours now. It's been going really good, and it's time to get it off. Could let it go a little bit longer, but actually I got room for the pool, so this is gonna be fine. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna wrap it to help keep it moist. And we're gonna take it inside and do it in the oven. That way I got the temperature controlled and everything else. So let's take this off. Still got some good smoke going. But you can see how that's really kind of crusted up out there. A lot of that fat's rendered off and it's down in the grill. And that part right there, that's just the fat that's on top of it still. We're gonna take this, I'm just gonna pick it right up, go right to my pan, and I'm gonna take it inside where I'm gonna wrap it up and throw it in the oven. Okay, so we're just gonna wrap this up. Gonna get it nice and tight. Do this a couple of times. Went the long way the first time. Kind of take it and go the other way. You just want to kind of help really keep that moisture in there. Really what you're doing is keeping the fat in there, which will just render down. I'm going to go one more time, I think, around the way I just went. And what we want to do, this thing really needs about 8 hours of cooking time. And you can go longer than that, it's no big deal. But I already got my oven going at 250. So this thing's been smoking for over 5 hours now. I want to go at least another 3, but I'm going to go longer than that. I'm going to go about 4. Just put it in here and let it go about 4.5 hours, 4 hours. We'll take it out and see how it looks. See ya. So we took this out of the oven about 30 minutes ago. It was in there for about 4 hours, and we kind of got to let it come to rest. Not quite 30 minutes to go, but when you hate to wrap this foil, it'll stay nice and warm. So now is kind of the moment of truth for this bad boy here. We smoked it for about 5 hours, let it go in the oven for another 4. A lot of that fat has rendered down, as you can see. Try to do this without making a complete mess. And there it is. So it seems like a lot of time and energy, even though this has been out of the oven, it's still kind of smoking. But it really is not. It really is not that much of an effort, because the meat and the grill and the wood chips will do the work for you if you let it. Okay? So the moment of truth, man, it's still very hot, but the moment of truth for this is to see how well, or how easily I should say, this bone comes out of here. And it is just pulling away. So when your bone comes out clean like that, you know it's done. It's as tender as you can get. So all I got to do from here is kind of pull some of that fat off, chop it up, and it'll be ready to serve. That's that fat cap that was on top right there. So we want to get some of that out of here. Keep some of the fat just because it'll help keep it moist. But pull off what you want, serve it up, and you can tell we got some good little bark going from that smoke there with that red, a little bit of flavor from that seasoning. So it'll be good. Give it a shot and enjoy it. Have a good one.